Oh, hi. Hello, Hank. It's Friday. It's probably not Friday, but whatever. As you can see, I'm in Beijing. It's because I'm back here for Chinese New Year. But let me start on last weekend. That's when I was still in Japan. I went to Sannomiya to buy an iPad Pro as a gift for my grandmother-in-law. She draws like traditional Chinese drawings, so I figured it would be a nice gift with a pencil. I tried it a little bit. The simulation wasn't as nice as I expected, but it's still okay, and you can play games and stuff, so I'm still gonna give it to her. But anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. I didn't got the iPad at Sannomiya because I want a pencil. They said only Apple Store have a pencil, so I had to go to Osaka. And that took me about an hour to take the train. And my cell phone kind of died during that, so I had to actually ask people to figure out where the Apple Store is. Apple Store is located in Shinsaibashi. That's like the shopping center of Osaka, or something like that. Interesting fact, the common language of Shinsaibashi is Chinese. Yes, that is correct, because there's just so many Chinese tourists there. I was there when I was in my trip to Japan in June or July. I think it's June. The English names of months still confuse me. Sorry, but that's what you have. Another interesting thing I saw there is the Annnnnd burger. So this is McDonald's. McDonald's have a new really long burger. Well, not really long burger. Not physically. The name was really long. I think it's Hokkaido potato smash with cream and beef patty, onion sauce, something. Yeah, anyway, there's also bacon in it, and they put it all in the title, and they say this is too long, and we're going to ask everyone to come up with a name, and people who have the best name will give them about 1 million yen. That's like $10,000. It's kind of soft and bitter, I think. I don't know, I don't really have a good name, actually. So yeah, then I go to Apple Store, I got my iPad. And the person was nice enough to be like, okay, we have a student discount, but it's only for 2,000 yen. They were like, well, at least you got reimbursed for your traffic, or whatever. Yeah. So, there's that. One interesting thing in this trip was, so I thought to get a gift for one of my relatives. She was into this game called Neko Atsume. I don't know if you already know that. So I figured, okay, there's this plushie thing in one of those crane game machines. If you just Google it if you don't know what that is. So I asked, where are there any of those game machines near Shinsaibashi, and it turns out there are. There is the Otaku Zone, but that's like south and east of Shinsaibashi. It's called Nihonbashi. By the way, bashi means, it's the voiced version of hashi, which means bridge. And I do not see any bridge. No bridge. Anyway, so they have that thing here. That was a very interesting experience because I played one of these machines before. Actually, several times before. I couldn't get anything out of them. And I was like, yeah, how do you even get this to work? That's, there's no way I could get this to work. But that day I went to Osaka, I was like, okay, I really want to get this to work today. I'm going to pay like 1,000 yen or something to try see if I can get it. And 1,000 yen will be my limit. I won't spend 1 penny more, 1 yen more or whatever. So there's that. For 500 yen, you get 6 plays. If you put in only 100 yen, you get 1 play. So I put 500 yen first. I could barely make an impact of the thing. But if I look really carefully, the thing kind of moved. So I formulated a theory. Oh, by the way, let me show you the thing I got at the end. So, spoiler alert, sorry. This. So as you can see, this is like huge. So I was trying to move this thing. Somehow move it towards the falling zone. But it turns out the thing is, you cannot... oh my god, this is so difficult to explain in English. You cannot just go directly and try to grab this. That does not work because the crane machine doesn't have that strength to do that. They are designed that way so they can get more money out of you. So what I did was I tried to put the hooks like a little away from the center so that when it's pulling up, it also pulls it sideways and it pulls it towards the falling zone. That's my idea. And it kind of worked. It kind of nudged the thing around. And then so I was like, okay, there's at least some hope. So I put in 500 more yen. And then I kind of moved the thing a bit further more. But it's still not quite enough. I know there's still some distance, but it's much closer than it used to be. So I played like a couple more times I could win. So that's when I decided, I was like, if I stop playing now, other people are just going to take advantage of this. Or maybe they'll just place it back to where it was. I don't know how these places work. But so I decided, okay, I've spent 1,000 yen. But maybe if I spend 500 more, maybe I can get the same. So I start putting in 100 yen coins and try again and again and again. And I eventually spent 2,000 yen to get this thing. I don't think this really worth 2,000 yen, but when I got it, I was really happy. I was really excited. I was, yes! In English. And they heard me shout and they gave me this bag. This really large bag to put this in. And so I left the place happily. And it was a nice experience. It kind of reminds me of my research. So I'm currently doing reinforcement learning. It's like when the robot cannot get any reward, it cannot learn. Because robot cannot formulate a model of how the real world works and then reason based on that model. So okay, I've never won this before, I've never done this before, but if I do this, and that maybe work. The robot just kind of does things randomly until it reaches a reward. And this is my reward. So I kind of, okay, so I can play this. If I spend 1,000 something yen, I can do this again. If I do this again, I know there are some tricks I can save the time. I can save money to get another one. So I kind of want to play it again, even though, despite it's totally not worth it. Because, I mean, this is a very nice plushie. It's large, and it's probably going to be a nice gift to the person. I know she's not going to watch YouTube videos because this is China. And it took 200 minutes to upload a 30-minute video, which is why I'm going to edit this one heavily, hopefully. Where was I? So yeah, I guess that's how these places work, how they keep attracting traffic. It's the thing, when you get it, you feel really cheap because you paid so much. You finally got it. And yeah, so that. And that's only part 1 of this video. Part 2, fire alarm. So when I was back in Canada, there's several, really stupidly many times of fake fire alarms that has happened. And sometimes we have fire drills. But the most ridiculous ones are in like 2 a.m. someone just pulls a fire alarm, and that's like a 15th floor apartment, and so everyone have to come out midnight, and it's winter in Canada. Oh. The thing is, this time when I was in Kobe, I woke. This is like 4 a.m. I woke up already because this is like 2 days before my flight coming back to China. So the flight is at 11 a.m. and I want to be there early just in case something happens. Yeah. And that story is coming up. That's part 3, just by the way. Anyway, so at first it was like small rain. I can hear clearly. I know this is probably an alarm, but I was like, if this is a fire alarm, why so low? And so I was like, okay, maybe I should get up. This thing is just if there's actually something, maybe I should get up and get dressed and start preparing to leave the place, because I've experienced already. I know I want a coat, and I want my cell phone because I can play games when I was outside. Because it's boring if just standing outside for 30 minutes. So that's what it is. And then when I was preparing, the alarm just went up. The volume just went up all of a sudden. And I know for sure, absolutely there's a fire or something. At least there's some situation. Maybe someone pulled something. So we went out. And this is I live in the international students building, so mostly international students. That means like half Chinese, by the way, just like in Canada. Anyway, so there were like some people among us were like, they're trying to get everyone. I just went out, I didn't really bother with other people. Maybe I should, I don't know. I still haven't decided what I'm going to do next time. But if I don't see anyone doing that, I probably will. And then they were like, call the fire department. And I was like, okay, one there. I took out my phone and I called them, and it won't work. It's really pleasant to know that your cell phone provider does not allow emergency call. This is because this is an IP phone. Maybe they don't allow that in Japan. Everything is kind of simulated through data. But I think if I do call, the voice doesn't count as data. I don't know why. But I don't call people. I don't send text messages to people. Because you have internet. You have fucking internet. Why would you want to do that? Just Skype. Just use whatever. It's fine. We have WeChat, and I don't like WeChat, but everyone uses it. Have to use it. Just, yeah, calling people's phone number. It's so. But anyway, my phone doesn't work in case of emergency. Nice to know. I might change service provider, but these people are really cheap. This is really cheap. This is like 1,000 something yen per month. Like a regular cell phone provider will be like 4,000 yen per month, and that's like, no, not for this Chinese guy. And so after that, we stayed outside for a couple minutes, and some smoke came out. So we know there's an actual fire. For once in my life, there's an actual fire when there's a fire alarm. But just by the way, just in case you don't know, in Canada, what happens often is in the middle of the end term exam, people cannot pass the exam, so they kind of text message their friends and are like, "Can you try to stop the exam?" Push the fire alarm. This is... I hope they go to special places in hell, those people. But at least that's what I think what happens when people pull the fire alarm in the middle of an exam. And probably this happens multiple times every year in York University. Anyway, this time we have real fire, and after a while the fire department came, but before that apparently a student went in and killed the fire. I don't know whether that's an appropriate thing to do, but I guess if it's a small fire, it turns out there was it's like people forgot to turn off their heater and then it burned their bed. That's bad. So fire department kind of did nothing. They went in with full gears and it didn't really do anything, I think. And they were like, okay, there will be water leaking if maybe because of the fire, and if you want to be careful. But, and that's all. Fire alarm, just normal, every day. And then there's the third part of this vlog, which is going for really long, 18 minutes already. I plan to do like 10 minutes. I really need to start using a script. Anyway. I'm home. That's it. There's no fog in Beijing, which is rare. Yeah, I'm happy to spend Chinese New Year with my family, and I feel really awkward that it's like right next to midterm in Canada, Chinese New Year, and so you can never come back unless you don't want to graduate. And this is the first time in 4 years. Winter of Beijing. It's nice. It's cold, by the way. It's cold and dry because Kobe is kind of near the sea, so they don't really get that. In Beijing, it's kind of slightly more inland. So. And that's it. I'll be giving this to one of my relatives and the iPad Pro to my grandma-in-law. And that's it. Don't forget to be awesome. Bye-bye.